In this video, I'm doing a commentary on a match between Michihito Kageyama, Michi, and Frank Talbot from the Chicago Open 2023. This is the World Backgammon Federation Club World Championships. It's a 9-point match, and there are 3-player teams. Each player from one player from each team plays another player from the other team, and the best 2 out of 3 win. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please place in the comments what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on that. This video is being produced with permission of Bill Riles and Ace Point Backgammon. Thank you for allowing me to use this video. Ace Point Backgammon has a great YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. I recommend going and checking out their channel. They have great videos, lots of matches. So this is a 9-point match. Chicago Open is run by Rory Pascar, who has a lot of experience running tournaments. Definitely recommend that tournament. 3-1 for Michi to open the match, makes his 5-point. Now with a 6-4, it's correct to run all the way. You're ahead in the race and just want to run. Michi rolls a double 4. That's a good roll. With early double 4s, that's great. To make the 20-point and the 9-point, he has a commanding position. Frank rolls a 5-2, not a good roll. He's going to bring one down, but he could just clear. Yeah, it does leave a 2 shot. Now, Michi has a strong position here. He can hit with 2s. He has a lot of checkers, 10 checkers in the zone. He has a broken 4 prime. Frank doesn't have a lot of development and still has 2 stacks on his 5-point and his midpoint. He has 2 blots, 1 checker back and 1 checker on his bar point that's susceptible to attack. He does take. Michi rolls a 6-5. He can make his 3-point. Now he has a strong 3-point board. 6-4 for Frank. He could run, but that's leaving 2 blots, duplicates the 2s, but he does decide to bring one down safely and play it to 4. Michi rolls a 2-1. He can make his bar point. I don't know why he did that. Probably just an oversight. 5-1 for Frank. Now he just brings one down and he can play safe, or he could just play 8-7. Michi rolls a 4-1. Now he makes his bar point. So that blocks Frank if he rolls a 6, which he does. He rolls a 6-2, so now he cannot move his back checker. He's got to play 13-7, and the 2 probably behind with 6-4. Good play by Frank. 6-1 for Michi. Brings one down and spreads, leaves a direct ace shot. But Frank has 2 blots in his board. 5-3, he can run. Does leave 4s and 11s to hit. Michi doesn't get it. He gets a 2-1. He can make his 4-point. That creates a 4-point board and a solid 5 prime on his side with the back of the prime slotted. Now Frank has numbers to hit. 6-1 does hit, but he has 2 blots in his board and he'll have to leave 2 more blots, so that's too dangerous. Most people are familiar with Michi, one of the top players in the world out of Japan. Frank is very strong himself. He plays 16-9. 6-3 for Michi. Comes down and plays 8-2. Frank is a pharmacist out of Michigan. He's been on the Giants 32 list and 64 list for many times, including the first time in '93. 6-2, he makes his board. Michi rolls a 6-1, plays inside. Double 2 for Frank. He brings 2 checkers behind. And 8-4. It's a close race. Frank is up by 7 pips after the roll. It's down 1 pip before the roll. You can see that I have the pip count from the XG feed on the upper and lower right hand corners. The XG feed is on the left, the player cam is on the upper left, the scoreboard's on the right. Thank you for everyone who's given the feedback to help me improve these videos. 5-3, Michi plays on his side, retaining his anchor. 4-1 for Frank, just plays behind. 7-2. 5-1 for Michi. So he'll play 6-1, and he can save a 6 by playing 6-5. Looks like XG says it's better to just come in, keep your board. Does play 6-5. 6-1 for Frank. He needs to clear his 8-point. Now his 11-point is blocked by the anchor. However, someone's got to move fast first with a 3-1. Michi's going to play on his side. Again, XG likes to keep the board. 5-1 for Frank, just plays behind, maintaining the status quo. 5-3 for Michi. Looks like it's too dangerous to abandon the anchor quite yet. Frank would have a lot of numbers to point on head or pick and pass, making a 5-point board. And he does play on his side. Frank's hoping to clear. He cannot. He rolls a 3-1. He can play 4-1, but then doesn't have a good ace. Looks like XG says you should play 4-1 and then 2-1. It's natural to clear the bar point, but that makes it a little harder for him to clear his 11-point. Double 3 for Michi. He's able to partially move his anchor forward. Both players are kind of running out of time. 4-2, Frank cannot clear his 11-point. He's got to play in his board. So he'll play 6-2. And he can play 6-4 or 4-2. Michi's looking to escape. 6-4 he does. He escapes both, and he's ahead in the race by 13 pips. 5-1 for Frank, brings one in, fills in the gap. Now it's a race, it's a dice rolling contest. 5-1 for Michi, gets a crossover and brings one in to his 6-point efficiently. Frank wants a big roll. 5-3, he brings one in, bears one off. Michi rolls a 5-3 of his own, plays to his 4-point. Here on the XG feed, you can see the effective pip count, the EPC. Frank is down by 4.5 pips on the effective pip count, and 13 pips in the raw pip count. He rolls a 3-2, bears off 2 checkers. He cannot redouble quite yet. He's going to need something better. 5-4 for Michi. He plays 6-1 and 4 off. Good roll for Frank. Big roll. Takes off 2 checkers off his higher points. 6-1 for Michi. Bears off 2 checkers. 1 off his 4, 1 off his ace point. Frank's looking to possibly double. He's counting the race. Looks like it's a big blunder to double quite yet. He's behind in the EPC. Double 6 for Frank. Now he wish he would have doubled. He just lost his market. Bears off 4 checkers. Michi bears off 2 with the 5-4, but No can do. Redouble and pass. Frank takes the lead, takes the first game. Now he has a 2-0 lead. 7 away, 9 away. Michi's known for his books that he's written, Opening Concepts, Endgame Technique, and Back Checker Strategy. Those are fantastic books. I've done reviews on those. I definitely recommend them. And I understand he's working on another book on the 5-point match. That will be very interesting. Next game, Frank opens with a 6-1, makes his bar point. Michi rolls a double 5. 13-3 twice. 6-5 for Frank. So he is behind in the race by virtue of that big double 5, which was 20 pips. So he can escape. Looks like it's better to just bring 2 down. And that's one of the keys. When when your opponent plays a double 5 early, that's 20 pips in the race. So you're probably behind. So you do want to stay back. And that's what he does. Good play by Frank. Michi rolls a 4-2. Good roll. He's able to make his 4-point. 5-1 for Frank. Now he's in a difficult situation because his back checkers are anchored on the 24-point. Michi calls that glued back checkers in his book, Back Checker Strategy. He also gave a lecture at the Nordic Open about gravity. When your midpoint is stripped and you have 2 checkers back, there's gravity and you want to move your back checkers. That's what he does. That's the natural play. Looks like it's a small error. It's better to have played 13-7. Now Michi has a good position. He has a double. He can hit with the 6 or 1s, and he has a 3-point board. Frank has 2 blots, but Frank does have 10 checkers in his zone for a possible counterattack, and the spares are spread out on all 3 points. He does have an awkward stack on his 6-point, but yellow's checkers, Michi's checkers, are glued. His back checkers are glued on his 24 points, so he's going to have a hard time trying to complete an attack while at the same time escaping his back checkers. So it's a lot of work, things to juggle. So he's looking, and it's a close race. He does decide to double. Frank's looking at the take decision. I always tell people when your opponent is considering doubling, you should consider taking at the same time. You are allowed to think while your opponent is thinking. You don't have to wait until it's your turn. This will save you some time on the clock. You can be doing things like looking at the position, how many points each player has in his board, how many checkers back there are. You can count the race. Of course, you don't want to make hand gestures and put your fingers over the board while the other player is thinking, but you can visually count the race with your eyes. So he takes, and Michi rolls a 6-4. He hits and splits the back checkers, does a little bit of both. One from column A and one from column B. That's what Kent Goulding says. Frank comes in with a 3-1 from the bar. He's forced to come in with the ace and hits. Michi's looking for a 5. He does get it. Hits a checker, sends a 3rd checker back, and advances his other back checker with 24-22. Frank wants something good, not good. He rolls a double 4, dances from the bar. Michi's looking to continue the attack. Now he has a 6-4. So he has some options. He can go out, make his bar point. That's a nice point to make. That'll block Frank's checkers. Could make his 2-point, but he really needs to move his back checkers. And that's not the right play by XG. Looks somewhat natural because it does make the 4-point board, but you really want to make the 5-point first to create a priming structure and a blitzing structure. He could also anchor on his 16-point. However, making that anchor is going to make it harder for him to abandon that anchor, which he's going to need to do shortly. Michi's up by 37 pips in the race before the roll. He's got to get moving. So he does that, makes his bar point and plays 20-16. 5-1 for Frank from the bar. Not a lot of good options. He can come in. He needs to come in with the 5 because he doesn't want 3 checkers stuck back. And with the ace, not a good roll. It's a very volatile position. Michi has a lot of numbers that can attack. And he does. With the double 1, he comes in, he'll make the 5-point on head. Great roll, and advance that back checker from 22 to 21. Great roll. Now Michi has a full solid 6 prime on his side. Frank comes in with a 5-1. He's forced to come in with the ace, and he plays 13 to 8 with the 5. He's in big trouble. Michi has a 5-2. Advances the back checker and anchors on his 16-point. 5-4 for Frank. He has to be careful. Just play safe. 12 to 7 and behind, unstacking the 6-point. Good play. 6-5 for Michi. He can keep his back checker where it is, and that controls Frank's side of the board. You just play off his 16-point. Either 2 down or come to his 5-point. Now Frank's going to have trouble clearing and moving, but 3-2 is a good roll. He's able to use the spare checkers to nicely make his 5-point naturally. Good roll. Now double 2 for Michi. Cannot move his back checker, so he can just slot his 2-point. Nothing to be afraid of. He has a solid prime. That's what he does. Frank rolls a 6-5. He doesn't have a lot of good rolls here. He's going to be losing a lot of gammons. His best bet is to make his ace point, which you don't really want. That really overextends the position. When you have multiple checkers on both ace points, on the 1-point and the 24-point, your position is overextended, becomes very inflexible, hard to do things. And his back checkers are disconnected from the rest of the army. Now, Michi rolls a 6-5. He makes his 2-point and keeps that back checker there. 6-3 for Frank. He clears his 8-point, makes his 2-point. Michi has a commanding structure and position. 5-2. Now I think he's got to move, because if he plays this 5 on his side, it's going to go deep. That's what he does. 6-2, he's forced to play the 6 in, and the 2, he breaks his bar point. That kills 6s for Frank, which is good. Double 1 for Michi. Just going to move 1 over and bring his spares, spread them out. You want to spread them out on the higher innerboard points during your bear-in. 6-1, the 6 is killed, so he cannot move. Or, sorry, it's a 6-2, so he plays 6-4. 6-2 for Michi. He has to play to the 8-point with the 6. And with the 2, you can either play to a 6-point or 6-4. Doesn't really matter. And he plays in. Now Frank is on roll. 4-3. He's just going to clear. Now that kills his 5s. They're looking at something with the clock. They figured it out. Michi's on roll. He rolls a 6-5. Not a good roll. It's forced. He leaves a blot. Frank's looking for a 6. No, he rolls a 2-1. He can make those 2 points very nicely. Now he has a 5-point board. Another 6-5. He's forced to go deep, which he doesn't like, and he gets to bear off a checker. 2-1 for Frank. Just clear his upper point, his 5-point. Michi's on roll. He's going to win a lot of gammons here. 5-2. The 5 is forced. And the 2, he can bear off another checker, playing aggressively for the gammon. Or play 6-4. He does the aggressive play. Frank rolls a 5-2. He cannot play 5, so his 2, he plays 3-1. Michi rolls a 4-3. Now that leaves a shot. So he can clear from the rear, but then his spares are on his lower points, which is not good. He can bear off a checker off the 4 point and play 6-3. That's what he's looking at. (6-2) for Frank, just runs. Michi wrote a whole book called Endgame Technique that talks about these positions. 5-1, great roll. The 5 is forced and he plays 5-4 to cover his blot. 6-2 for Frank, he's just going to play down. Michi in his book talks about how to bear in and bear off against an ace-point game and 2- and 3-point games. Now, he has no 5 with the 5-4. He just bears one off. And Frank's able to hit with a double 3. Good roll for Frank. So he hits, he continues, brings another one, and spreads things out. Frank's going to have a hard time containing Michi's checker. Michi comes in with a 5-4, comes in with a 5, and continues with a 4. 6-4 for Frank. He's able to hit back with the 6, and with the 4, he can just move his back checker forward. That'll leave him some more checkers to be able to possibly contain, but he does play behind. That saves some gammons. 5-4 again for Michi, comes in and hits. Good roll. Now Frank's on the bar again. 5-1. So, yeah, he can come in on the ace point or come in with the 5. That gives him some better coverage of Michi's back checker. Michi rolls a 6-1. The 6 is forced, and the 1 he just comes in a little bit closer. Now Frank wants 5s or 4s to hit. He gets it. He gets a double 5. He hits and just brings both checkers out and both checkers down. They're bearing in on his board. Now he might be able to contain if Michi rolls bad. No, Michi rolls a double 5. Good roll. Comes in and hits. And now he can continue all the way to his 5 point, but it does leave a direct 5 shot. Or he can play 6-1 twice. So he's looking at the former. This leaves 5s and 4-1. The other way, only 5-1, 4-1, and double 1. And staying back would give him the possibility to get another checker. These are always tough. Frank's looking to come in. If he can get a double 5, he can hit. No, he dances with a double 3. Now Michi's looking for an ace to hit. He doesn't get it, but he can come down. Now only 6-4 and double 5 will hit for Frank. He's going to need something good. He rolls a 4-3. He comes in, keeps a little contact, plays his 3 on his side. Michi rolls a 6-4. Good roll. He's able to hit and bear off a checker that wins some more gammons for him. Frank's looking for something good. 6-4, that's a good roll. Comes in, gets 10 pips. That'll save some gammons. Michi rolls a 3-2. Bears off 2 checkers. 6-2 for Frank. Good roll. Comes in, comes down and in. Michi's going to need a double and a bad roll for Frank. He does get the double. Double 4 bears off 2 checkers. Now 5-4. He saves the gammon. So now the score is tied 2-2, 7 away, 7 away. They're playing on a beautiful FM Gammon board. This is one of the leather boards. FM Gammon makes really nice boards with the MagFit technology where you can change the surface, you can customize the surface. This looks like a leather board, which is not on sale on their website. I have the Talbot board, which is a beautiful mahogany board, but it's very heavy. But it is nice to play on. This is beautiful. I want to get my hands on one of these boards. Frank opens with a 3-2, brings 2 checkers down. 5-2 for Michi. He splits and brings the checker down. 6-3. So he's able to make his 5-point productively. Michi rolls a 6-4. Good roll. He's able to anchor on his 18-point. 6-3 for Frank. Splits and makes his 10-point. 4-3 for Michi. Nothing productive. He's forced to play 13-6. 5-3 for Frank. Just plays to his midpoint, and 6-3 unstacks his heavy 6-point. Good play. 2-1 for Michi. Another bad roll. Plays 13-10. Double 3 for Frank. He was looking for that number. He's able to hit and cover. Probably his best roll. Now Michi needs something good from the bar. Double 4. That's good. He comes in, but I don't think it's enough. Looks like XG says it's a pass no matter what. So he comes in looking at making his 4-point. Or he can hit. He can hit and continue. Does leave a lot of blots. Being outboarded 3-1. He's looking at the hitting play. Now, if he does this, Frank can come in and hit with 2s, 4s, 6s. The 2s are duplicated. That's what he does. Frank had a double, but he didn't double. He does roll a 6-4. Great roll. Comes in and hits. Double 2 for Michi. He can anchor. Makes his 4-point. Now Frank has a double. Looks like a small pass on XG. So Frank can hit with 4s and 2s. Frank's up 22 pips in the race. He has a 3-point board against Michi's 2-point board. 7 away, 7 away. One of the things to consider is the score. If you are interested in learning about how to play based on the score in a match, there are a number of good books. Kit Woolsey wrote a great one called How to Play Tournament Backgammon. That was some time ago. More recently, Nick Blazer wrote one called Adjusting to Match Play. That one's really good as well. And also Dirk Sheeman talks about this in his book, but that's very technical. So Frank does double. Michi takes. And Frank rolls a 4-3. He hits and continues. Although he could have just played 13-10, trying to make his bar point. Michi comes in with a 3-1. The 1 is forced, so he plays 8-5, slotting his 5-point. 3-2 for Frank. Plays 13-8. He could have played 13-11, leaving that shot because Michi has a blot on his board. Now Michi rolls a 5-4. Just plays in his board. 8-3. And 6-2. Frank rolls a double 5. That's a good roll. He can clear his 10-point. That's going to be a hard point to clear, and just bring 2 checkers down to his 8-point. Does have an awkward stack of 6 checkers on his ace-point, which is not ideal, but at least he clears. Michi rolls a 6-1, makes 2 interboard points. Instaboard, as we call it. Frank rolls a 6-3. The 6s weren't good, but at least he rolls a 3 to make his 2-point. So that was good for Frank. 6-4 for Michi. He's able to make his 3-point. Now he has a 5-point board in case he gets a shot. Frank's looking to clear. He does with a 6-2, 2 off his 8-point. Michi's down a mile in the race. 6-2. even though he's down so far, looks like XG says it's best to run. However, it is close to play 13, 7, 8, 6, keeping that contact with the back checker. Frank does have some spares to point on head. Rolls like 5-4, 5-1, 4-1. But he doesn't have any other doubles. The running play loses a lot fewer gammons, but it also loses more games. He does decide to run, doesn't want to lose a gammon. Gammon would get Frank to 3 away. Now with a 4-1, he plays 8-3, 3-2 for Michi. 16-11. Frank rolls a 6-2. Good roll for him. He's able to clear his 8-point. Now he's a big favorite. 6-5 for Michi. Comes down with the 6 and inefficiently with his 5, 11-5. I'm sorry, 11-6, 5-3. Plays 6-1 that way. Double 6 doesn't leave a shot. And 3 off. Michi rolls a 5-2. Just plays to his ace point. 5-2 for Frank. He can bear off 2 checkers, or for sure bear off the 2. And he can play 6-1. It's a little bit more safe. That's what he does. 6-1 for Michi. Makes his board and plays 6-5. Now, double 6, great roll for Frank. Frank's been rolling a lot of these double 6s in the bear off. Bears off 4 checkers. Great roll. Now he's a really strong position. Michi rolls a 4-3. Escapes. 3-2. He can't clear his point, but he can bear off 2 checkers. Or he can clear his point. But bearing off 2 checkers wins more gammons. And it's pretty close. So he's got to look at that. You want to see how many checkers you have to bear off, how many rolls it's going to take for you to bear off, and how many rolls it is going to take for Michi to bear in and save the gammon. Double 1, not a good roll for Michi. 2-1 for Frank, able to take off 2 more checkers. Closer to a gammon. 3-1, another bad roll. But he bears 1 in, hoping for a 5-1, 6-1, or 4-1. And he does get the 4-1. So he bears off a checker without hitting, or he can play 5-1, 3-2. He bears it off now. Michi needs an ace to stay in this. No, he gets a 4-3. So Frank has some gammon chances here. 6-2, bears off 2 checkers. Good roll. 6-4 for Michi. Now he needs Frank to roll a 2-1. He doesn't. He wins a gammon. So he goes to 6. 6-2 in favor of Frank. 3 away, 7 away. So if you read Dirk Schieman's book, the section about match scores, you'll learn that being at an even away score is more valuable than an odd away score. So you want to think about your score and your opponent's score when you're deciding on cube actions. Michi opens with the 2-1 slots. 5-2 reply, brings 1 down and splitting the back checkers. (3-2) for Michi. He's able to make both points, makes his 5-point with 8-5 and his 11-point with 13-11 with the 2. Now 6-1 for Frank. He's able to make his bar point. That's productive. Michi's looking to attack. He rolls a 6-3. So he can run his back checker, or he can attack. You have to be a little more aggressive when you're down in the score like this. That's what he does and brings a builder to his 5-point. Frank has some awkward numbers. 6-2 from the bar. That's a Ray Fogerland. That's an awkward number because he's forced to come in with the 2, and the 6 is relatively non-productive. He has to play safely. 13-7. Now Michi. This is a borderline double. He does have some offensive position. The race is very close. He can attack the split checkers. Frank split checkers in the back. However, Frank is close in the race. Frank has 11 checkers in his own zone. Does have a little awkward stack on his 6-point with 5 checkers there. Michi's back checkers are glued to his 24-point. He calls that glued back checkers in his book, Back Checkers Strategy. Makes it a little hard. So Michi's going to need to attack, prime, and try to extricate his back checkers all at the same time. That's what makes it a comfortable take for Frank, even though he is up 3 away, 7 away. Also, taking it 3 away, if you were to win the game, it would take you to the Crawford game. So that's a valuable score to be at. And the other thing is, if he passes, Michi gets to an even away, 6 away score. And if he continues and loses, Michi will be at a 5 away score, which is not much different from the 6 away score. All those things make it a take. Yellow, you can see on the XG feed, is only winning 57% of the games, but he does win some gammons. Frank passes. He doesn't want to get gammoned here. So Michi gets a point, 6-3. Now Frank is leading 3 away, 6 away. 6 away is an even away score, which is valuable. Next game, Frank opens with a 3-1, makes his 5-point. Michi's on roll, 6-4. The normal play for money is to run, but here it's better to split because of the score. That's what he's looking at. This wins more gammons. 3-2. Not a good roll for Frank, and that's what happens when you do that 6-4 split. It leaves some awkward numbers. So he can split. He can play 2 up like that. That's what he does. 4-1 for Michi. That's a good roll. He can make his 5-point. He can hit twice. He makes his 5-point. Frank's on roll. He rolls a 6-3. He hits with the 6. And he comes down with the 3. Could have also played to the 18-point. Michi's on the bar. 6-3, that's a good roll. His 6s from the bars were diversified. He cannot come in with the 6, but he can hit with the 6, which is what he does. Comes in with the 3 and hits on the 18 with the 6. Frank rolls a double 3, great roll. Comes in, hits on his bar point and points on head. All you can eat. Michi's in some trouble. He's going to need something good. 6-3, he dances. Now, Frank's looking. Frank's ahead in the race by 5 pips. He does have a 3-point board, but he still has 3 checkers back. Michi has 2 checkers on the bar. A double gammon wins him the match with 1 point of overage, meaning he'll get 10 points instead of 9 points. He does double. Partly because of that, it turns out to be a no double. And if he just plays on and continues for a doubled gammon, He may be able to get to the Crawford game. He only has 9 checkers in the zone. Think maybe if he had an extra checker down, if you move one from the midpoint to 7 or the 9 point, might have made it a double. So turns out he doubles. Michi takes. He rolls a 6-5. So he can make his 2 point. That's what he's looking at. That makes a stronger board, but he does have checkers back, and it leaves the Joker double 4. He can't escape all the way. Looks like XG says to make that anchor. With 3 checkers back, you really need to do something about bringing those checkers back. Alright, so he runs. 6-5 for Michi. He dances. Now Frank has the initiative. He rolls a 5-2. Brings another builder. 13-6. 3-1 for Michi. Comes in with 1, but he still has another checker on the bar. Frank's looking to make his 4 point. 6-5. Cannot bet he can make the point on head. Alright, now he has a 4 point board. Michi has 2 checkers on the bar. 4-2 comes in with both checkers. Now Frank still has 2 checkers back, so he's going to have to juggle offense and defense. He rolls a 3-1. He can hit. Now if Michi can roll a 4, and he does decide on that. If Michi can roll a 4, he's looking to possibly redouble. If he redoubles to 4, the cube is dead. Frank would have no value in owning the cube. Owning the cube has some value inherently in itself because you can redouble later, but at this score he cannot. So these are the kinds of adjustments you need to think about in a match as compared to money play. And if he comes in and hits, he may be able to win some gammons. That'll get him the match. A gammon on a 4 cube at 6 away wins the match for Michi. Does have 2 points of overage there. But a single win on a 4 cube gets him to 7 points, so he'll be 2 away, 3 away, which is a nice score to be at. So he can hit with 4s, double 2, or 6-2. That's 14 numbers. At the same time, Frank's going to have trouble escaping his back checkers safely. It does look like it's a small redouble on XG. He's counting the numbers. This is what he does. He counts the good numbers on one hand, the bad numbers on the other hand. Learned that by watching one of his videos. He has a lot of videos on his own YouTube channel. Michi has a great YouTube channel. This is what separates the top players from everyone else. Thinking about doubling from the bar. He rolls a double 4. That's a great roll. Comes in, hits, and he can make his 4 point, which is relatively safe because now Frank has 2 on the bar. That just lost his market. Frank's going to need something good. That's not good enough. Comes in with a 6-3 with 1 checker, but another one on the bar. Now, Michi. He's too good to double. Too good to redouble here. He wins a lot of gammons here. He wins 31% gammons. And that's good. He's thinking about it. does decide to roll. He rolls a 5-1. He would have liked to hit with a 2 or a 5-3 or a double 1. He cannot. He can make his 8 point. He's looking to anchor 23-17. Looks like XG likes a more aggressive play, which wins more gammons. (13-8) brings another checker into the zone. That way double 3s and double 6s make his 2 point, and 6-5 spreads out the spare. That's what he does. Good play by Michi. Frank's going to need something good from the bar. 2-1, that is good. He comes in and hits. Now Michi's on the bar. Look at that, it looks like it's too good to redouble still. He does. Now Frank's looking at it. Frank wins over a third of the games here, but his gammon differential is huge. Yellow wins many more gammons than black. He does pass. Michi wins 2 points, gets the 6-5, so now it's 3 away, 4 away. Now if you read Nick Blazer's book, you'll learn that at 4 away, 3 away, the trailer can double more aggressively than at 3 away, 2 away because of the value of cube ownership, and you can win the match perfectly with a doubled gammon. Frank opens with a 5-3, making his 3 point. 5-1 in reply for Michi, brings one down 13-8 and splits his back checkers. 4-3 for Frank. So he hits and splits his back checkers. Michi was thinking about cubing, but he doesn't. 5-4, good roll. He can make his golden point anchor, the 20 point. The golden point was named by Paul McGreal. 6-5 for Frank. He makes his 2 point. Michi rolls a 6-3. He's able to come in, hit loose, put a checker on the bar. 10 checkers in the zone, but he's outboarded 3-1. 6-1, bad roll for Frank. He would have liked to have hit. He cannot. Comes in with the ace and splits to his 18 point. Michi plays on. He doesn't double quite yet. He's able to hit with 8-7 and cover his blot. Nice roll for Michi. 4-2 for Frank. Forced to come in with a 2. Now he doesn't have a productive 4. He could advance his back checker. Looks like that would be the only way he would be able to take. Or he can play 13-9. 6-2 is really ugly. Michi does double. Looks like a pass. You see the gammon differential. How many gammons yellow wins versus black? That's what makes it a pass. Michi does not hit, but he rolls a 2-1, which can make his 5 point. That's great. Now he has the rack, term coined by Bill Roberti, when you have the 4, 5, and 6 points. Frank rolls a 5-3, comes down and plays safe from 9-6. Michi's looking to attack, win the gammon, double 6. That's a great roll. He's able to point on head, and he can make his bar point, but he could just go all out 13-1, putting another checker on the bar, trying to win a gammon for the match. That's very valuable. Frank needs something good. 6-3. At least he comes in with 1 checker. Michi wants to attack. Double 5. Look at that. Points on head, and he makes the board. That was a super joker. Now Michi just wants to come home safely. 4-2. In these positions, you just want to look at what kinds of plays you can roll so that you don't have any root numbers or anti-jokers that force you to break your board with a double. So here he was looking at double 4, for example. Now double 3. would be bad. Michi's a big favorite to win a gammon. He comes out with a 6-5. Now he doesn't have any bad rolls. 5-1. So he plays like that. You want to make sure double sixes, double fives, and 6-5 don't leave a shot. So 3-2, he's going to want to bring one into his 5 point. That way double sixes don't leave a shot like that. Now he's not going to want to bring a builder to his 6 point because he wants to clear that point next. So that's what he does. He's a pretty good favorite with 2 on the bar to win a gammon with all those checkers in the outfield. 5-2. He can bear one off or play a little bit more safely. This does win some more gammons, so that's worth it for Michi. Now double 6 and double 5 would leave a shot. He doesn't roll that. He rolls a double 1. He can pre-clear his 6 point, but he can keep going for the gammon. That's what he's doing. Now 6-4 clears his 6 point, bears one off, and plays 6-1. Now Frank's looking for double 6 or something good to come in and save the gammon. No, he dances. Michi's in the driver's seat. 2-1. Bears off 2 checkers. Closer to a gammon. Keeps his 5 point board. Frank rolls a 6-2. Comes in with 1 checker. He's going to need to roll big to save that gammon. 5-4 for Michi. Bears off a checker and plays 5-1. Frank wants to dance, hoping that Michi will leave a shot. He does not. He comes in with the 5 and plays in perfectly with the 2. 5-2 for Michi. Bears off 2 checkers. Frank needs to roll big. No, 5-1. He gets 2 crossovers. 6-3 for Michi. Bears off 2 checkers. Huge favorite to win a gammon. 3-2 for Frank. Gets 2 crossovers. Michi rolls a 6-4. Looks like gin. Frank concedes. Congratulations to Michi. And Michi wins the match. Congratulations to Michi. Thank you to everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. We did add some new features like the XG feed on the left, the player cam on the upper left, scoreboards on the right, and the pip count in the upper and lower right-hand corners. Thank you to Bill Riles and Ace Point Backgammon for allowing me to use this video. Definitely recommend checking out their YouTube channel. They have a lot of great videos. Go check them out. Very high quality, very well made. In this one, there was originally a commentary, but it wasn't with the XG feed, so I thought I'd do that here. Please do like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Also, please put in the comments what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on that. And I'll see you in the next video.